Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So today we are going to finish off this bridge so we can finally cross this crevice. Alright, so the bridge is pretty much set. A little bit of an issue towards the end or the tail end of the bridge because it has a bit of a slant where it hits. So that's causing some minor issues, but we can get off the bridge easily with no issues. So instead of bringing this guy over and across the bridge, which we could do, why not spend some time to make a small little kind of buggy-ish vehicle just for fun. So of course we're going to start off with a landing gear and some blocks here, and I'm thinking of using the small little buggy cockpit here. Hopefully that'll work okay, and I guess we could place it I guess that's a decent height, but I kind of want to build it a little higher. So we'll just build it here for now. So I want to build, let's just see if I can build on top of that. That is a complete fail. That didn't work. Whatever, we'll leave it as that. So we're gonna base it off of this thing there. So what kind of vehicle can we build out of that small little cockpit here? Alright, so we have the cockpit here. We probably need to add the batteries in the back. And the only thing about this buggy is that it is a 2-width system or block, which is very different from all the other cockpits, like in control seats. The other cockpits, they're all about a 3-width situated system. So I was hoping to make something decent here in terms of the wheel system as well. So something along the lines of kind of making it a little taller too would be pretty good to have as well. So I'm thinking I kind of do want to make it a little longer so we have more wheelbase, but how can we kind of design this out a little bit better? So the front here, we can kind of do some kind of slope. I think we can do. Can we use this slope here? No, because that's gonna protrude to the top. So we need to use kind of a smaller slope. Probably these guys here. If not these guys, then the tips maybe. Yeah, we can do that. Actually, that seems a little bit better. And then we can add some, like, you know, maybe some regular blocks this way, and then we could just round it down towards. Let's do it the slower rounding off, or you know, sloping down. So we can just do it. Oop, not that. That way. And there you go. So now we have a pretty decent slope down. Not the prettiest thing in the world. Actually, let's get rid of that. It's gonna look like a cheese wedge for whatever reason. So we can leave it kind of like that for now. Okay. So we can add our wheels, and we're not gonna make this the best looking thing in the world. We're just gonna make it a decent little vehicle for the purposes of driving over and to the other side of the bridge to the contract base or the economy base. Do we want to do contracts? Probably not. They are a bit of a pain to do, depending on what they are. Actually, yeah, we can do some, but not too much of it. Meaning, like, I don't want to do search ones. Definitely, those are the worst ones to kind of do in this current environment. So we'll just leave that alone for now. But if we could do, you know, sell materials, we do need a big rover to do that. But honestly, I hope this is an economy base with vehicles that are being sold, so I could easily buy stuff that way instead of having to build some of these vehicles, which not a big deal if I build them. It's actually fairly easy to, it's pretty fun to make, so not a big deal at all. So a small vehicle doesn't need a big battery, so we can use something like this yeah, I think we're fine with using some of these batteries here, and we use 4. I think that should be more than enough. And put that there, and we could put our wheel towards the back here or here. Put it here. We put it here. That's fine. 1 block away. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but it is what it is for now. Same design. We're just gonna put it this way, and we'll put the wheel suspension off of that thing there too. So just a quick little Rover. It's not the longest wheelbase in the world, and it's not wide either, so it can flip over. We're gonna use the off-road wheels. Those are always fun to make or to use. And do we want to use a 3x3? I guess so. I think 3x3 would be an ideal situation. These were left side ones. I don't want the left side ones. I want the right side ones. So we'll just plop on right side wheel, and we'll put on left side wheel and the left side wheel. So luckily that was high enough for that, so that kind of worked out. So that's perfect. All right, so from here I think we can get rid of that and design a little bit better using this here, something like that. Now we can just weld up everything and pretty much drop it off of this landing gear, and we have us a little quick Rover like vehicle, which has a lot of weak points here as you can probably see, but it isn't too bad. Just wanted to put together a quick little vehicle so we could drive around, because again, we did lose our motorcycle because I took off the motorcycle mod trying to figure out what was breaking my load. Like I couldn't load the game whatsoever at one point, so I had to take out all my mods that were here, and I left some of them like abandoned settlements so that we can have that keep ongoing. So I could put back the motorcycle mod and make the motorcycle again. I think I'll do that probably later down the line, because you know the motorcycle was fun to play around with and it drove pretty well. I mean, it didn't really spin out or break too easily. So it was an ideal vehicle, to be honest. But this little Rover might be as good as a Rover as the motorcycle, so we'll see how that kind of works out. Am I out of construction components? That's gonna be bad. I did spend a whole bunch of steel plates making that bridge, which was an interesting little thing to do. And it looks like I'm gonna need more construction components as well, because at the tail end of the bridge we use the catwalks. And the main reason why we use the catwalks is because it has a better sloping effect towards the uneven ground. So that's kind of why we use that in that sense. I feel like we should kind of protect the bottom of this thing here, ideally. So we could probably use some half blocks. So we can, in the front, we could use these guys here, and then we could just use some of these half blocks going this way. But at least we have some underbelly protection, which would be more than ideal in case we bump into the cockpit going too fast or so. Well, this thing should go pretty fast, but let's see how fast it can go before it kind of tips over and flips. I mean, this thing would be pretty heavy if it's made out of concrete, which it seemingly is right now. I just gotta change the color scheme really quickly in a bit. Lights. I do like the offset lights here. These are cool lights to have, and we can place them pretty much like this on here because of the way it's rotate of the slope block. So that's always cool to kind of have in that sense. So yeah, if we could put it this way or we could put it this way, I think design purposes it actually looks better this way, where it has a bit of it protruding on the front and the top there, which is pretty cool. Do we want to put some kind of block here to kind of make it more shapely or whatever it's called? We don't necessarily have a block to kind of make this a little smoother, so we'll just leave it as that for now. Lights we have back here from the batteries, but of course I like to use these offset lights for rear brakes kind of look. So we can do it like this here, Or should we do it the same way as before? Let's switch it up. Let's just do it this way. Alright, so last little touching stuff on here. I kind of want to put these, the slope block here, just to give it a little more detail. It's 100% unnecessary, but it just kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, in that sense. It looks like I have actually some blocks that are unwelded in the back there, which is fine. Oh, I actually can reach it, so that's good. Now I'm pretty stuck. Oh no, okay. Alright, so yeah, this wheelbase is very tiny, which is not ideal. I should have made it a lot wider, but it's okay. We'll just leave it as that for now, and we can pretty much hope for the best for this machine, or for this rover. It definitely needs to have longer wheelbase, in lengthwise. Widthwise, not too bad. Should have put it back here a little bit more. This one is, I mean, it's okay. It's gonna work. I would think. I would hope so, at least. Okay, we have our wheels. We have everything set pretty much. Only thing I have an issue with is the color scheme. So let's change that up. And I don't even know what to do with the color scheme right now, but I guess we could kind of go with whatever. A bit of an orange sci-fi look for now. I guess that kind of works. Kind of, not really. It doesn't look that great, but it's not terrible. And yeah, I guess I could spend some time to decorate this with a better color scheme a little bit later. But it's not, it's okay. It's alright. Alright, so now since we have that all set, so that's a little quick rover build, which isn't too horrible. I mean, not the best thing in the world, but well, most of my vehicles aren't the best thing in the world anyway, so makes no difference. Okay, that's all taken care of. We can actually, we should kind of put something here like so. All right, that worked out. We had just enough steel plates. And yeah, I think if in the future we're changing this, we need to extend the length of the wheelbase, not widthwise but lengthwise, because I kind of already see that, yep, this thing can pretty much flip over really easily. So that's not good. So we should extend the front. Actually, can we extend the front now? We probably can. All right, so the weather hasn't been great for us for a while. Yeah, it happened during the time lapse. It's all the weather issues constantly picking up here. So with that said, I mean, we have a longer wheelbase now, which is good. We added a bit of a spoiler because we can, and we have a weird little kind of rover. Kind of looks odd, but let's see if it's functional. Right, so we got left and right steering on the front only, and we do need to change our power. We don't need the power to be that high. It could be 20. Strength wise, I used to do 12. Leave high offset for now. Friction, we probably want to change for the front wheels at least. And we can leave top speed as it is for now, and we should be good. So the biggest problem is always trying to figure out which one is front, which one's back. So this one's the front because it's steering, so I'm just gonna do F here. This one has no steering, so it's this one here. So these are the fronts. So we can figure that out. Okay, cool. So unpark, and we can get going, and it looks like we move okay with speed. That's not bad. Don't have to change the friction because it's holding up pretty well. It's again not the nicest looking thing in the world, but it's pretty functional. It's not terrible, and we can easily cross the bridge that we built. That's okay. That's not ideal. I don't know why we got so turned so left for some reason, and it is kind of glitching out on here on this platform, so we definitely can't go too fast, or we might go off the bridge for whatever reason that was. So Jesus. You know what, before we make it across, let's just park this guy here. So what I did basically for making a bridge is to make it a lot easier. I put a remote block and an antenna here so that I can utilize the projection from up all the far over there. So I did have to add an antenna to the rover itself so I could work on extending the projections forward and left and right easily by remoting in while sitting down. So I'm pretty close to it now. So if I go remote into this large grid, which is the bridge here, I set up the tool bar to have like horizontal offsets, decrease horizontal, increase forward and backwards. That was even manipulated forward, backwards, left and right. So it'll be easy as that. But of course, there's some limitations. 50 is the highest it can go, so you would have to break that projector, make a new one, and project the blueprint again. So that's kind of how I did the projection, and then I welded up as we did in the last episode. So we just pretty much did that throughout, and we made a thin little bridge just so we can get across to see how it looks, or you know, at least get a bridge going. I mean, it's not the safest bridge in the world because there's no guardrails, and it seems to be quite slick, especially driving with this kind of rover here. So we got to be careful with that. Probably have to increase our friction if we're driving on this, maybe, or maybe it's just so large that it's kind of glitching out. So as you can see, for an example, this is the projector here. So I don't have antenna on this guy, but hopefully I can reach it from here. Nope, I can't. So because my rover, my other rover, the Croc, had antenna, I was able to reach the control from here, and it was able to pretty much control it and go left and right, up and down with the projection until we reached the very tip of the other side of the crevice. So everything's not welded up, but once we get here, we kind of fall into a bit of an issue where we're not necessarily touching the ground because it is a bit of a slant, which is kind of what I was, kind of imagining as I saw it from that side anyways. So we built it this way. So we definitely should build the bridge a little bit more towards the right a little bit, or we could kind of leave it like this and kind of find a way to flatten this out a little bit. So the reason why I use all these catwalks is so we can get a nice little leveling from it to get off of the bridge. And I removed some of these steel half steel blocks or half blocks so that they don't touch the ground and only this is touching the ground. And of course, I was messing around with the hinge that's holding the bridge, the two hinges that are holding the bridge. Definitely should use more, but it does operate when you move it up and down. It did kind of glitch out where I couldn't control the maximum and minimum degree angle. It would just, if I just hit reverse, it's gonna go all the way 90 degrees for whatever reason. Not sure why. And then once you stop or hit reverse again, it just drops the whole thing, hitting the ground really hard. And that's mostly because I had the torque all the way up, and I want to set the braking system all the way up as well. So it's holding up pretty well. I mean, the only problem is, yeah, you gotta kind of get off on the side, which is not too bad, and it accidentally caused another hole, as we do that a lot in this series. So yeah, what can we do now? We can proceed with the station over there, which is the UVSR station that we saw in day 1, episode 1. Then we wanted to really get there to kind of see what's there, but of course that crevice was the main factor why we can get there. Now that we passed the hurdle of the crevice, we can finally head on over to this economy station. I hope it is filled with stuff and that I could buy vehicles there, or make some money out of it first and then buy some vehicles. That would be great, but I kind of doubt that's gonna happen. So we're running into a bit of a cliff situation here, and let's kind of drive a first-person view because it's always cooler that way in some ways. And this vehicle, this is kind of the first time I built a long kind of wheel vehicle so that it has a decent balance. and in terms of like stopping and driving forward without spitting it out. Not the prettiest thing in the world. I actually like to make compact things, but the problem with the compact things is that it's gonna kind of turn and flip over. This vehicle itself is kind of spinning a little bit to the left and right a little bit. Not too much, but it is doing that. And I just did my first whoopsie with this and driving too fast over a cliff. So ouch. Alright, so I lost my nifty little lights there and caused another hole, as you mentioned before, and my kind of ugly spoiler is kind of broken too, which is not too bad. Alright, so we shouldn't really be driving so fast, to be honest, because we will go over cliffs like we just did fairly easily, because I think we picked up pretty good speed. I think we're at 40. Yeah, we have a topped out speed limit of 45 meters per second, it looks like. And even that little was enough to kind of go over a cliff like that. So imagine going 100 meters per second. It would kind of flew and probably blew up. So luckily only minor aesthetic damages and nothing significant was broken. I do recognize that I only put 4 small batteries and no way to charge them currently. And I don't have a lot of batteries left on this vehicle too. So if I'm driving it, I only got about 5 to 10 minutes, and just right there it said I just got a few seconds. So I'm losing power fairly quickly. That's interesting. So I gotta drive this forward and have it kind of cruise a little bit, because it keeps changing in terms of the timing. Oof, that's not good. I just did it again. So I should have put some gyroscopes onto this thing so that this doesn't happen. Yeah. Alright, so it took some effort to get this flipped back, and it looks like we lost a good number of batteries, so we might not have a lot of time or batteries to get to the economy base. And yeah, we are out of power. So we got a kilometer away to reach that economy base, and yet we have no way to kind of make it back. No battery here. I don't think I have a solution I don't even have parts to make another battery, so it looks like we're gonna have to do the walk of shame now, and about a kilometer away. So not gonna bore you with the walking, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes, or honestly a second. Alright, so we made it top of a mountain to this economy base. We're in a safe zone, which is great. Again, we're gonna have to walk back, which is not something I really want to do, but even if they do sell vehicles here, I don't even have the money for it. So let's at least check it out, and then eventually, probably not today, take that walk back, get to the bridge, and make it home, and then make another vehicle, I guess, or actually just let's just bring the croc over so we can use that instead. Because yeah, flipping over like that was not a good thing, and it's gonna take a while to walk back. Okay, so there's a store here, that's not what I'm looking for. Actually, I am looking for a store. Let's see. Let's cross our fingers and hope for the best to see what's in here. So we're gonna hit it in 3, 2, 1, and no vehicles. Ouch. Alright, so all this was kind of for nothing, but not really. They got some silver here, which isn't too bad. We can buy some elite drills and things like that too. We do have some money, I believe. Probably not at all. Actually, looks like we have nothing. So we gotta kind of have to figure that out. Do I have a faction here? I should have a faction. And there's no money in it either. So am I poor? Yeah, I am poor. So I have no money whatsoever in here, so we can do contracts if we really wanted to. So as I mentioned before, search contracts, not the funnest, especially if you're doing it on land, no ships, and just a rover. So I did think of kind of building something where I can use sensors to detect to search drones and stuff like that, but there's a limitations on the sensor fields, so that didn't work out. So we got to figure something else out. But yeah, generally they take too long to do, especially when you're on a rover type of gameplay. If you're on a ship gameplay, it's much easier. Acquisitions are the easiest way to make money, I think. So it's just about gathering those materials, refining them, producing them, and then selling them. So a bit of a trick there is to make a base right next to the economy base, and then find a way to connect the a connector to their connector. They could exchange all these things to make quick cash, basically. I haven't got a chance to do bounties, escorts, hauling. I tried once. It takes forever depending on where you're going, and of course the more jump drives you have, the faster it goes, but generally it does take quite some time for that. Repairs I've never even got a chance to do before either. So it's just pretty much, ideally, acquisitions are your go-to to make some quick space credits, I would think it's ST stands for. But the problem is there's not much here that we can purchase in that sense. So that's the kind of sucky part about it. But we can buy a few data pads if we wanted to, if we had cash. We have none now, but we could buy a few data pads to find new bases nearby. So, nearby, so we can kind of get that figured out sooner or later. And let's see, this if I do want to build a base outside, which is, you know, something I do kind of want to do just for fun. So we could, you know, put a big drilling system, drill down a hole, and then we can store it and then connect to their connector somehow. So we could do that with a variety of ways, whether it's you know, pistons, hinges, rotors, all connected. We just gotta find a good connector for that, and I think it's gonna be this guy here. Yeah, it's gonna be this guy here. We're gonna connect to that, or that one up there. Probably this one's better. And then we can make some quick money. And then of course we're gonna go and see if we could find any stations that sells vehicles, because we could always play around with those guys for fun. But at least we can make money along the way too. So we could make some kind of base right out here. Actually, I'm thinking the top one might be a little bit easier to get to. So we can think about it. So we would build one here, or the one across from there, or we can still build one here, and then we should connect out to the top there. So the only reason why I would do that is to you know, connect into it so we can exchange it for the acquisition contracts, make the money. But yeah, ultimately it took a long time to get to this economy base, and it's not very helpful. Nothing insane there, not what I was hoping for, but at least we made it. But now it's time for the long walk back home, which is not gonna be fun. We are about 6 kilometers away, so that is, I don't even know what that equates to in terms of walking speed. I mean, we could walk 10 meters per second, so you do the math. Yeah, it's gonna take a while, so let's not bore you with it and just move on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.